Go ahead and let's go and get into the movie review right here. As I say, we're catching up on some movies early, especially for the movies that people who around the country, probably around the world, have seen this movie already. We're talking about ALITA Battle Angel. Now, some of you, if you a true nerd out there, you know that because a lot of people because they're looking at this, and when they see this, when they've seen this trailer, they're like, God damn, what's wrong with that girl's eyes?
I'm not your daughter. I don't know what I am.
I do. You're the most advanced weapon ever.
I remember when people used to hate these ads from dtmerch.com. Now they love them. It worked out for us. Remember, people used to hate hearing about that black tee with the white logo. I'm sorry, the classic black tee with the white logo. And if you don't do it for yourself, as I say, subscribe for somebody else. There are a lot of children who are going to bed without toasty goodness, and it's a sad thing, but you can change that. Still see people today talking about who have not seen the movie. I actually saw this. You know, I'm quoting something. They said, what the fuck is ALITA Battle Angel? Well, some of you nerds out there know, and I'll be one of those nerds out there. It's a manga. Y'all know I used to love anime. You probably knew this, Miles. This was an anime that came out. Actually, it was a manga first that came out in 1990. It was quickly what they called original animated video. Not long enough to be a full feature-length film, but you know, so it's about an hour.
Yeah, I used to read that manga all the time. I was a big fan of it.
You know, when I heard that they were going to be making a movie about this, and then I heard that James Cameron was attached, I said, "Oh shit!" And then I heard that James Cameron was attached, and then after that I heard, well, James Cameron's attached, and he passed it off to Robert Rordriguez, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's not too attached.
I saw the trailer, and I'll tell you, I was the one that defended it, and I said, you know, something because everybody's talking about the eyes, and I said, man, there's a reason for the eyes. But quit looking at the eyes. You know, look at the rest of the things going around them eyes. Look at the world in here. Look at the see Billy. I was there. Everybody did that. Look at the world that they built in here. Look at the effects that they have. Look at some of the names that they have in here, like Christoph Waltz that's in here, and Mahershala Ali. You know, yeah, it's got a great cast. No, let's leave the eyes alone and just and see what the rest of the movie is going to be like. Let's take a look at the rest of the story to see what we get here. And that is what we're going to do right now. We're going to have my review. We're going to have Martin come in his review. But first, we're going to show you the trailer, and we will be back with that review.
I'm with her.
And some of you might remember when this movie was under another working title. You might remember when it was called Angry Tony. Our friend, for those who don't know, our friend Tony, he was with us on our last site. Some people, this is the first time I actually seen him because he was an animated robot himself at one time. That's right. Him. That's the angry Mexican dude you see in the corner right here. He was in this movie, and we saw that, and it was funny because when you watch the trailer, some people don't even know him. They're like, damn, that's an angry Mexican back there. That dude hates his boss. And I got to say, I've known this guy for years.
Since he was in high school.
Since he was in high school. That's how I knew he was a good actor, because I ain't never seen him that angry before.
I know, right?
I hope that was method acting, you know, right there. I remember when I saw that, when I first saw that frame right there, the first thing I did, I picked up the phone and called Tony. I said, man, do I owe you any money?
Are we cool?
Are we good? Because I do not want you coming after me, man.
Draw like real experiences.
Yeah. Shit, both these guys look like they hate their jobs.
I hate you made us come down there.
Yeah. Both these dudes are angry, but this guy ain't got nothing. I like the way he's trying to out-act Tony. Law.
He's sweating though. See his upper lip. Straining to try to out-act Tony.
Tony, look at him. Look at them eyes right there. Tony even got a mad blink. I was like, I do not know what, if that's method acting, I do not know what image Tony had in his mind or what memory he was bringing back up, but he is, I like
Corey, I remember it like it was yesterday. things he did to me.
Shit, he looking like Liam Neeson, this black bastard right here. It's funny too, because Tony, I told him today, I said, man, you should come down and talk about it. And he was cool. He wanted me to put a rumor to rest that you put out there. He's like, listen, I'm not gonna come down. I feel silly coming there and talking about how I just scowled. I just had a scene because I didn't have any dialogue.
I did?
That's what he said.
How would I even know that?
Martin, whatever you did, you better correct it now. You don't want him coming after you. But I said, do you want to come down and just talk about the experience with the film? He's like, Tony's mind. He's like, look, man, I just had a scene where I just look mad. He's like, I'm not going to come down there and brag about that. He's like, it's cool.
Come in wearing a scarf and dark glasses.
Yeah.
And a beret.
Well, my motivation. I remember when my uncle touched me as a child.
My craft.
When I studied with Strasberg.
But that I mean when I watched Godfather 2.
Yeah.
I remember De Niro said to me, well, he didn't say it to me. He was on TV saying this, and I was listening to it, but he said.
Yeah. I clearly told that black guy behind the counter at Wendy's, no mayo. He gave me mayo. Mahershala Ali was that black guy that day.
And now Tony's Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, the pain. I brought it that day. Tony did say this. He sent me a text and he said he is trying out for the next Batman, though. So I told him he's got our vote for that.
Doesn't he do that every night, though?
He does.
I was going to say.
Some people say the Lord's Prayer at night. He says, I'm Batman.
So time I come home at night, he's perched on my roof going, I am the night. I'm like, man, just take that shit off.
Come on, go home, man.
Go to bed.
You want to come inside?
You go to bed. I'm hunting. But I have to tell you, man, this film, let's see here. I will say this about the film, man. It is true. It's nothing but green screen. I don't think I don't think there was ever a scene that they shot that green was not involved.
It's the loneliest feeling not to know who you are.
You know, there's intimate moments like that that kind of transcend the effects heaviness of this film.
Yeah, for something that's shot on, almost completely on green screen, it's one of the few times it didn't bother me throughout the movie.
No.
I just kind of forgot it and went with the environment.
Yep.
Because they do well with the environments.
See, the thing is, man, they use, when you have the sets, you can tell that they're sets and they're for very intimate moments. But it is a green screen film and all these things are CG buildings. But it's a world that really does look inhabited, man. And at first, it is off-putting, this world that you're put into, because everywhere you look, people are grotesque. People it's horrifying, man. Because when you dropped in it's like they dropped you in the middle of the street, and you're just walking like a tourist, and you're just looking around like, ugh, shit. It's like everything is.
It's not that different than going to a border town in Mexico.
But soon you see that the characters are just living their lives, and it quickly becomes normal, because not all these are villains. Not all these are characters that are fighting each other. Not all these are characters with big eyes and all that. It feels natural. It feels lived in. There are people with mechanical limbs who are just walking down the street, shopping at markets and storefront carts, and people in the middle of the street playing guitars with an extra arm or something. It feels natural.
This feels lived in that I feel like if I'm not following the main characters, if I were to move the camera somewhere else, I would see somebody else's life and get the idea of what they do every day.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And another thing that really helps with it is something that people have enjoyed what they've done with some of the latest Star Wars movies. That's something that they say that, you know what, if you say anything else about Solo, what Solo did right is they made it feel dirty again. Mm-hmm. This world is, it's gritty and it's dirty. And I love the dirtiness of it. With this particular world they have, first of all, it's a world inhabited, like I was telling you, by cyborgs, man. Most of these people are, most of these people look like victims of horrible factory accidents.
Yeah.
Like they were fixing a machine and just fell into it, and the only thing that came out of their body was their face, on a pile of a bunch of mechanical junk.
Yeah, it's almost like they lost the ability to do just regular medicine. They
Yeah.
were like, oh, you got a split in your hand? We got to cut that off and give you a robot hand.
Yeah.
Time for exoskeleton. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
And then you just go like, yeah, I knew that when I came in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I should have been more careful.
Yeah, don't go to a doctor, go to a mechanic. You know.
Go to Joe's mechanic.
Yeah, down the street. Yeah. I love what they do with them. They're very cool. They're horrifying. Sometimes they even hot. God damn, that's sexy. Her eyes just got bigger. Did you see that?
Oh shit.
I like the way Alita was like, you know I was gonna fuck you, but you know, you brought this on yourself. Oh. Wearing them fishnets, that was hot. Why'd you make me do this?
Robot ass on there.
I know. I love all that hopping around, hissing. I want to get your head mashed into a wall. The way they move plays into their body designs. In that sense, it's very much like the anime. You know, a lot of these characters, I don't remember if a lot of them looked like they did. I know there was like the big dude in there. He is in here. When you make a movie based on a property, I mean, you can try to do a faithful translation, or you can try to change some things. Not, you know, because the people who don't know it, that's cool for them. But if you know this property, it's nice to see that you can change it up a little bit.
Sure.
And yet somehow still keep the essence of what the source material is. Now, I will say that even in this world where people are completely mutilated, they have mutilated themselves, where they replace their body limbs with used car parts. And you look at that and you think, well, you know, this world's already kind of exaggerated. Out of all that, you still do look at this girl and like, God damn, what's wrong with your eyes?
You know, it's a funny thing. It's like the eyes bothered me so much in the trailer, and then watching it in the movie, it took about 10 minutes before I was over it. Thinking back to it, I was like, yeah, but why were the eyes so big?
Exactly.
Because there's never explanation for that. You get somebody going like, oh, I'm looking at the manga. She's got big eyes. We got to give her big eyes. You think somebody else would come in and say, like, listen, man, those things are drawn with everybody having big eyes. Don't focus on that.
Yeah.
But you think like, okay, well, in the movie, maybe it's gonna make sense why she does. No, not really.
I tell you why look, I'm only saying this because I don't think it would be as much of a problem if through all this weirdness, because that's what people are saying. Well, damn, man, you just talked about how everybody that already looks weird, like people's heads are on junk piles. How you gonna exaggerate? I mean, how you gonna look at this exaggerated shit and come like nitpick on her eyes? The only thing that keeps me from really harping on those eyes is that the actress that they got. I keep wanting to call her Rosa Parks. It's Rosa Salazar. Rosa Salazar is the actress. You can see, you know, she even in real life she got kind of big eyes, but not that big. But the reason why I say she's got big eyes, of course, of a different color too, is because she's already got an expressive face.
Yeah.
She's an expressive actress. So, you know, when she's in scenes where they depend on a lot of emotion, and most of those emotions are in the scene with her and Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz plays a scientist who he is like the local doctor, except when people come in, he kind of tunes their mechanical parts up.
Right.
He also he's a hunter of other cyborgs, but he's also a scientist himself. You could probably guess why in the movie, but he longs for a daughter. He finds the body of Alita and brings her in. And those are some really tender moments between them when they're together. She has no memory. It's nice scenes where she's got this innocent curiosity. He's very fatherly. When they have those scenes, her eyes can be very expressive. And I give the actress credit for that.
This body, it has the power I need.
Whatever you were, it's not who you are now.
You like, shit, take
Okay.
it. You know, okay, all right, whatever you want.
I just had to have a daughter, didn't I?
He's like, shit, I love that tray too.
That was my favorite tray.
Puberty. They warned me about this.
Right?
I've always wanted a boy anyway. But like, I'll take your ass back to the junkyard. You keep fucking around. I really do like the world they've created in this movie, man.
Yeah. I
really enjoy it, and I enjoyed the movie early on.
You know, there's no place you more see James Cameron in this movie than in the world building.
Yes, that is very true.
'Cause that's something he's really good at.
Yeah, and I think between the imagination of Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron, they were able to like put the what they both do best. Rodriguez's playfulness and James Cameron's penchant for like serious science fiction. Together, you've come up with a very unique kind of action film, and I'll explain why that is a little bit later. Now, talking about world building, there's a moment where the world building just kind of stops.
Sure.
And it's pretty much all about just looking badass. This is where you talk about they proud, Billy. This is where they just stop and they just start showing off. It's pretty much, it's almost like Robert Rodriguez said, man, I ain't never had this much money before.
What else can we do?
Shit, he's used to that Weinstein money. They just give him just a little bit of money, and shit. Robert Rodriguez will tell you, man, half these movies I spend my own money on. But with this, it's almost like he's having a good time with the budget, man. He's having a good time with the toys that are available to him, and there's good news and bad news. What you want first? You want the good news first. So the good news with this, because after a while it turns into superhero landings and anime poses. And the good news with that is that the action truly is badass. I'll tell you that much. The action is clear. It's coordinated well. I mean, look, this is the thing. If you're going to do a movie that's like 90% CG, you got the ability to coordinate that action and choreograph that action any way you want to. And Robert Rodriguez knows how good that action looks too. Robert Rodriguez, there's a point where he's like slows that shit down. When the most badass scene part, he's like, look at this good shit right here. It's straight out of a comic panel that before someone gets punched or killed or dismembered, you do kind of want to sit back and just like, let me just soak this in real quick. Let me just look at it. It's almost like I'm at an art gallery. Let me just admire the composition here. And I admire that, man. I'm not a big fan of that fast then slow-mo type thing.
Sure.
But if you put the artistry in it, I'm cool.
Well, you think about how well it worked the first time you saw it. Like when 300 first came out, it was cool. It's just that when it got run into the ground, you're like, all right, that's about enough of this shit. But a little bit here and there where it enhances scenes like this, hey, bring it on.
Yeah. And you know what? And another thing with the action is they can get as violent as they want. I mean, they can just tear people up because
they're
cyborgs. There's no blood,
I'll roll them around. I mean, somebody put it.
Get the fuck out of here. You can tear people apart. You can have people dismembered in all kind of ways. What we're looking at here, and if you would listen, that's a kind of a death race roller derby scene.
Yeah, that motorball.
It's like rollerball, like the movie Rollerball, man.
Yeah,
except they can't do all that. But those motorball scenes were badass.
Yeah, and those were cool, man. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, it really is just crammed into the movie because it's a cool action scene. It really doesn't contribute to.
I like so much about this movie, but that's where the problems come in.
Yeah, that right there. They just said, man, we got a cool action scene right here. We just want to put it in there. But I tell you, it's cool because there's no blood. No one dies. Since they're cyborgs, there's a moment because they have some times where people's heads. She just tore the fuck out of some people, and the heads roll on the ground. You think they gone? They're like they can't live that, and then their heads roll. Look at the camera, like it's a living. Some Looney Tunes shit going on. That way they're able to, that way they're able to keep kind of a PG-13 rating while having R-rated level of violence, man. I thought that was the cool thing that was going on with the action here. That's what I meant by this is kind of a unique action film itself.
Oh, absolutely.
But you were saying you had some problems with that too.
It's really just the basic problem of the whole thing. I mean, you get James Cameron, and granted he's not the director, but James Cameron, what he does best is world building and effects and action scenes. But then you get to something like Avatar where you go like, man, it has everything except that the story is just kind of, it's not so much bad. It's just seen it and it's predictable. And then some of the writing is just kind of not up to snuff. Not anything you're necessarily hating, but you've grown a little bit. And when I talk about my problem with the motorball scenes is that they're cool as fuck. I see why they put them in there. But that if you were to like look at the manga, that's the second book. Like as volumes go, the first volume is all about her origin and fighting these cyborgs and what's going on around there. Motorball is second; it's a separate thing. Here, they try to cram these two things together in one movie.
Yeah,
and it's almost like you got one story going, and then it gets hijacked by this sexier Motorball because it's got all the great visuals.
Yeah,
but it takes away from the development that first story needed.
And thus lies the bad news right there. There's so much action that character development starts to fall short. It was so good in the beginning. It was so cool in the beginning. I was so touched. I was like, oh, this man done found a daughter again. It's some Pinocchio shit going on right there. It's like
Astro Boy.
Yeah, Astro Boy. Yeah, I was into it, man. And then they get so caught up in the action that that's where the story. When the character development when the character development falls apart, the story starts to fall apart. As good as some of the cast is in here, like Mahershala Ali, he's emotionless. He might as well be one of these cyborgs up in here. He's all flesh and blood and got less emotion than these machines.
I'm surprised they didn't make him a cyborg.
Yeah, but I got my cool shades on. Looking like Morpheus.
No, it's one of those things where you go like, wait, you hired this actor because he has a look, not for him to actually act.
And they hired him because that character does look like the character from the anime.
And he's hot right now.
And he's a big name. I mean, with a guy that's talented, I wish he had his role or his character have more to them, because that character has nothing. And I'll tell you the reason why that character has nothing a little bit too, because they made a mistake trying to do something with this character that hurts the whole movie, in my humble opinion. Jennifer Connelly is in the movie, man. I didn't find any. I don't know if I had any pictures of her anywhere.
They didn't give her any love in the trailer.
What's that?
They didn't give her any love in the trailer.
You don't know she's in it till you see the movie.
You see one shot of her and she's walking by.
And she's a substantial character in it.
But even her character is just cold, man. It's like there's nothing really going on with that character. I was trying to see if there actually was something of her in the trailer, and Billy's right there like, well, you can do shit no way. He's like, ain't nobody here to see you. And then you got Ed Screen, who's just being Ed Screen, angry, just walking around, just kind of with attitude.
Wade fucking Wilson.
Just Just look at my face, I'm gorgeous. He's the pretty boy with the attitude, and all he does is spend the movie being angry. Although I can't really blame him for that, because he gets punked out in this movie.
Well, that's one thing I liked about his character, is that he comes in like he's really like the badass of all of them, and he gets punked out so much in this movie.
I think
it was enjoyable to watch.
I'd be mad too if I got done like this. Get your bitch ass out. When you thought you were gonna do some bad shit, this little ass 14-year-old slams your hand to the bar.
Have some beer nuts, bitch.
And I mean, his feelings are hurt.
Ow, shit.
I mean, he's mad.
Through the bar.
At first, he had no reason to be kind of mad. He just had attitude, but that attitude served a purpose later on.
She gave that attitude an adjustment.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, brother. I mean,
I was just asking, this is your seat. You ain't gonna do all that.
No, it really was like that, man. It really was. He tried to play that shit innocently. He just kind of like, oh my God, your hair is gorgeous. Oh shit, fuck. You were talking about how they start cramming things in from other books into this, and they really are trying to fit a lot in there, including and see one of the things that they should have done is, I hardly say dumb things down. I'm not even say dumb things down, but
simplify.
They should have. They definitely should have simplified,
or streamlined, rather.
Yeah, this should have been more a movie about emotions.
Yeah,
conflict, what it is to be real in a way, what are emotions. Because they deal with that a lot. Ken Johnson plays Hugo. If you know the anime, you know what it is. That's the love interest. It really would have been great to get some of their love story in there, a little more developed, instead of rushing it like they did.
Right.
Because when you see the movie, like, they fall in love, and first of all, ain't nobody buying that you said, like, they almost fall in love immediately. Ain't nobody buying that the first time you look at this girl, like, shit. I mean, I done seen some things, but
when you walk around and everybody's a cyborg.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she looks mostly human except for the eyes.
That's why
maybe I can get her to put on some sunglasses.
that's why I'm saying, out of all the things this boy done seen, you look at that and like, oh fuck, it's a good thing you got a nice ass, girl. 'Cause
or maybe he's got a fetish.
eye fetish. Can I lick your eyeballs? What? I say hi. But
Oh, and that shitty best friend he's got.
oh yeah, yeah, that
Now, you and your girlfriend.
yeah. You know, he was just jealous. He wanted to get on there.
You want to get on with him. Oh, you still hanging with them females, huh?
It's like that joke of The Simpsons. You kissed the girl that is so gay.
Yeah, who is it? This guy. I got him here, Jorge Lindenborg, who was. I don't know, he's getting typecast and hanging out with robots because this was the same guy that was in Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who played kind of a nerdier friend in this. He's kind of just a shitty best friend.
Jorge Lindenborg?
Yeah, Lindenborg. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Germany, Mexico, somewhere in the middle. But you know, they had these relationships in the movie like that. I would have loved to seen that this be more of a character piece because after a while, outside of Christoph Waltz and Rosa,
Salazar,
Alita, and a little bit with Hugo and Alita. You know, those were the things that kind of felt real. The action scenes are cool, but this is, you know, they really were trying near the end stick too close to anime where I think they're going to lose people. And it doesn't help. Stop worrying about that sequel. You know, just think.
I know.
Worry about what you got now.
I know.
I mean, they are so pushing this sequel. There's a point where they even do a big reveal, and you know that they're thinking like the audience is going to be like, "Ooh, shit!" And meanwhile, we saw everybody like, "Huh?" You know, they did not know what was happening.
Right.
Stop pushing for the sequel. You made the mistake that all these Harry Potter ripoffs did, all these Hunger Games ripoffs did.
Percy Jackson.
Yeah, man, yeah.
It's happened so much that I wonder if it's just something that studios push for if they make them do that. Because I feel like every time somebody has a new property, there's always that talk of like, so what do you got planned for the sequels? You got sequels, right? It's a trilogy because it's too much of that happening without there being some push going like, all right, we want to make money off this. We got to sell this one. We got to sell this next one to make it bigger. So you got to plan on at least 3 movies.
Oh, that's the studio.
Yeah,
So.
Right.
No, yeah.
Right.
The movie's already, as I said, convoluted. And trust me, they had a nice part to end on. They had a really heartbreaking part to end on. And then they had to say, coming up next.
Right.
You know, they had to introduce this whole part that just threw the audience off. People were really like, okay, what was that?
Yeah.
Who is that? And they played the thing.
They build it up, and then when you see, you're like, okay.
Yeah, and first of all, the person that you got, ain't nobody waiting for their return at all. Right? I mean, I like that person.
Me too.
But ain't nobody waiting for the return of,
Right,
you know.
right.
Yeah. So, I tell you, I'll give my rating. I'll let Martin give his if you want to first. I can give mine if you want. Well, you know, listen. They've been talking about this movie is going to be one of the biggest flops of 2019. It ain't even out the door yet.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It's $200 million to make. That's what it's rumored for. And they say it's going to pull like $35 million. And once that Dragon comes out, How to Train Your Dragon, it's just going to go lower from there. They say it's going to be a bomb. And I think that's too bad. For one, I think they have themselves to blame, kind of, because they put so much marketing into this movie.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, they had like
Jesus.
you can go have the Alita Battle Angel experience around town.
That's right. I have friends calling me, asking me like, how is that? I was like, shit, I don't know. I ain't never heard of it.
Yeah, well, I was what?
That budget could be more than $200 million if you start adding in the advertising.
Well, I think the $200 million did go along with the marketing.
That's included.
Man, they've been marketing this since Comic-Con. I went to VidCon. They had a bar. You can go in and get a tattoo.
Shit.
Yeah, they built the bar they had in the movie.
Yeah.
They built the bar up like it was in the movie in the middle of this convention.
Oh, my God.
And they've been doing this everywhere.
Didn't it get pushed back?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
From December because they knew Aquaman was going to drown that motherfucker. You know, yeah, it was. I feel bad about that though because I don't think it's a movie that has a lot of problems, but I don't think it's a movie that deserves to fail like that. Visually, as I was saying, it's unique. Action moves well. It's treated with artistry. Had it been more self-contained, and they had kept that emotion up through the whole movie instead of and been able to combine it with the badass action that they have, because there's even a scene in here where they kill something in here. And you supposed to actually have a moment where we like, can we just take a moment to just shed a tear or cry or just say goodbye or something? But no, they set up to where this is supposed to be very emotional, and that happens, and Alita's like, I don't give a fuck. This is gonna be a badass action scene coming up, you know? I don't care. Emotion shit, yeah. Watch this good shit I'm about to do.
She's doing Zumba.
Yeah, man. If it had been a more self-contained movie and a more emotional film throughout, combined with the action, you would have something amazing. But I'm gonna give it a low matinee, man. I actually I enjoyed it. I did. I don't think it says it's been because of the move that you mentioned, and because of the predictions of it being a flop. I think some people out there have written it off as a bad film, and I don't think it is. I think it's a fine film. For just pure action entertainment, but it could have been so much better. Martin.
Oh, well, I guess you kind of took everything. I should have gone first.
Good night. Saved you some time, Martin. That's what friends do.
But you're absolutely right. I enjoyed this film. I really liked it a lot, and especially if you are going to go see it. I mean, just because it's going to be a flop doesn't mean that you shouldn't see it. It just can't make up for the money that was spent on it. And it's one of the few 3D movies that really, really works, that where you see it in 3D and it's not darker than it is otherwise. Because I would take my glasses off. I'm always checking. And I took them off at one point. I was like, oh, well, this looks exactly the same. Do I even need these glasses? And then I was like, okay, this part's fuzzy. Let me put them back on. And I was like, all right, you know what? If nothing else, James Cameron's always working on technology. And he has perfected or 3D, or at least taking it to another level.
You know, and before I forget, because I got it here, I just want to bring this up, and you can help me out with this. I thought it was cool that they did motion capture, but didn't try to catch the guy's face, the guy who does the big Hulk and Cyborg.
Yeah.
That was, who's the guy that played Rorschach and Freddy Krueger and was in the band?
Oh, that's Jackie Earl Haley?
Jackie Earl Haley doing the voice of that robot.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out, because I thought that was a good effect with him. Normally, with that kind of thing, with all these cyborgs, I'm so used to seeing the cracks in the seams and going like, all right, let me blur my eyes. But I thought these worked out great. I love the whole thing with all the different mercenaries. Everything in that action. You have the drama and you have the action, and they both work well. It's just that you don't get enough of the drama to make you care as much as you should. If you do decide, hey man, I don't care what other people say, I'm gonna go see this, I think you'll have a good time. And it's a matinee.
Yeah. I tell you, man, watching it, I took note of the things that didn't work, but I also took note that I was not bored at all in the film, man. You know, I really had a good time watching it, man.
I think a testament to it is that it really did remind me of having read the manga, even though I hadn't in a long time. And I could go back and check it and go like, okay, it doesn't look exactly the same, but it still gave me that same feeling.
Yeah. I'm also taking points off of the nightmares this shit gave me. Woke up every morning and my wife had those big eyes. I didn't know I was still dreaming. Shit. Thank you for watching the video. And here's a future thank you for hitting that subscribe button. And if you really love what we do, then check out our main site at doubletoasted.com. Over there, you'll find a long-form version of this video along with the live streams that we do almost every night of the week. Support us at dtmerch.com. And remember to always stay... That's right. Toasty.